Hi everyone, my name is Michael. I'm an Australian lawyer and a registered migration agent. Welcome everyone to the channel, and I'm glad to see those who come back to my video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the English proficiency test. In particular, I'm going to talk about the hot topic these few days regarding the change in concordance between the IELTS English proficiency test and PTE English proficiency test. Remember, if you like this video, please give us a thumb up, share this video to your friends and comment our video. I'm also welcome you to subscribe our channel and hit the reminder bell so that next time if you got new video, you'll be reminded. So before I talk about the concordancy change, I have to give you a little bit of background. As everyone knows that if you apply for an Australian visa, especially the student visa, employer-sponsored visa, skilled visa, including the business skilled visa, you might have to provide English proficiency to the Department of Home Affairs for assessment. Usually people use the PTE IELTS TOEFL English test to prove their English proficiency. However, on the 1st of December, the PTE official organization, the PTE, officially announced the change, the concordance between the PTE and IELTS. Remember, very important, this report only mentioned about the concordancy change in the between the PTE and IELTS, but not the PTE and TOEFL or other English tests. That's why it's very embarrassing at this moment, because we have no idea how the Department of Home Affairs will change the visa requirement, in particular the English proficiency level. So we will have to talk about exactly what the changes is. Alright, the changes mainly affect those who require proficient English level or superior English level. For proficient English level is about IELTS 7. Before 1st of December, the PTE score for proficient English is 65. And then for superior English, in IELTS is IELTS 8. And for PTE is 79 before 1st of December. So after the 1st of December, for PTE you are required to have 66 PTE Academic and 84 PTE Academic to achieve proficient English and superior English for the equivalent IELTS points. However, as I said, this is the PTE change only. In migration or in the Australian legislation regarding the English requirement has not changed. No change. Okay. So on the immigration website or the Department of Home Affairs website, they have not mentioned any changes. And in the legislation, there's no changes as well. For proficient English, it still say the PTE's academic test score of at least 65 in each of the 4 tests. Means listening, reading, writing, and speaking. That's for PTE. And IELTS is still 7. For superior English, you are required to have 79 for PTE and 8 for IELTS. Nothing has been changed. Nothing has been changed. However, we have no idea when the changes will be or when the Department of Home Affairs will change it. So the main question for the changes will be who might be affected. The first batch of person or people will be the submitted who has already submitted the EOI express of interest in the Skill Select program, but has not yet received an invitation to apply for the visa. So if you apply for or you submitted an EOI and then with a particular level of English, then you might have to think about like whether you have sufficient English if the English requirement has been changed in the Department of Home Affairs, especially for those who required proficient English or superior English for the skilled visa. Remember, after the 1st of December, in PTE, you are required to have 84 points for the superior English and 66 for the proficient English. That's the PTE requirement, not the Home Affairs requirement. The legislation has been changed. you will have to meet the new requirement if the Department of Home Affairs change the legislation. The second batch of paper will be you have already got the EOI, but not yet submit the application. Again, the Department of Home Affairs has not changed the legislation. Only the PTE has changed the legislation. So you still have time to use the old concordance to apply for the visa because the legislation has not been changed. At the moment, 79 is for superior English if you use PTE Academic. 65 is for proficient English if you use PTE Academic. For proficient English, you're going to get 10 points in English, and for superior English, you are going to have 20 points in the point test. The third batch of people who will be affected will be for those who has already submitted the visa application but no decision has made. So if you have applied, you have made an application, you have already made an application to apply for a visa, you only require to fulfill the legislation requirement at the time you made the application. Okay, again, you only has to fulfill the legislative requirement at the time of the application. That means if the legislation has been changed after you made the application, you might not have to fulfill the application. In most of the time, you don't have to do it. And then what the possible changes will be in the future? Of course, I have no idea. So I only can predict what the changes will be. Be assured that there will no effect on student visa, 485 visa, employer sponsor visa, except for those employer visa applicant who require registration for your occupation. And if your occupation require an English level that is higher than 5, then you'll be required to provide or prove your English proficiency level to achieve the registration requirement. For example, if you are a nurse, at the moment you have to demonstrate you got 7 in each band in IELTS test. That means you have to get the 7 in speaking, 7 in listening, 7 in reading, and 7 in writing. Alright, so if you choose to use PTE to demonstrate your English proficiency, you will have to have, at the moment, 65 for each of the skill set. However, if the immigration has changed the legislation, you might be able, I think there's a high chance that you have to follow the new rules, which means you need 66, okay? unless the registration body has not changed the requirement. All right, now, what the changes might be? The Department of Home Affairs might change the legislation later on, but it might not change. And it's still got the possibility that the department might not change the legislation because at this report, the Concordance report, only the PTE has changed the equivalency with the IELTS English, but not with TOEFL. So there's a question, how is immigration try to change the requirements? So if they change the requirement for PTE, so everyone will just go for TOEFL and IELTS. So there's a question to ask whether it's embarrassing or not to change the English requirement. It's quite embarrassing, even they change or not change, because the equivalency or the concordance might not be consistent anyway. So what happens if there's changes? So the Department of Home Affairs might change everything in one shot. So say I have to require my applicant to have the new English standard for PTE if you use PTE. The second option for the Home Affairs will be they change it by the date of the test result. There might be changes like, so if you got your English result before the 1st of December, okay, you might be able to use the old requirements. That means you only need 65 for proficient English and 79 for superior English. However, if the department would like to change the legislation by the date of the visa application, they might actually say, okay, you require to have your new English requirement if you apply for the visa after the 1st of December. Right. Actually, but if we talk about law, if we talk about legislation, we have to say there's a assumption, or I would say a doctrine, say that if the legislation does not emphasize on the retrospective nature of the new amendment, then the applicant who has already made the application will not need to fulfill the new requirements. So we have to wait and see how the Department of Home Affairs change the legislation. All right. That's all for today. If you got any questions, feel free to ask me any question and contact our team. If you like this video, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe this channel, share this video to your friends, and comment this video. Thanks a lot. See you next time.